Recent research reveals something most seniors never hear. The fruit itself is not literally 100,000 times higher in protein than eggs. No fruit is. I am Dr. Alina Serratia, and I need to clear that up first because your health deserves honesty, not hype. But here is the surprise. One simple fruit strategy may help your aging muscles respond better to protein, exercise, and recovery after 60. If your legs feel weaker, your balance feels less steady, or stairs feel steeper, stay with me, because I'm going to show you what actually works. By the end, you will know what to avoid, what to eat, and how to build a simple daily routine. Comment below what part of your body feels weakest right now. I will be replying to each one. After 60, muscle does not disappear overnight. It slips away quietly, like money leaking from a small crack in your wallet. Research shows adults who do not do regular strength training can lose about 4 to 6 pounds of muscle each decade. Studies found sarcopenia, which means age-related muscle loss, affects up to 27% of adults over 60, and nearly half of adults over 80 may be touched by it in some way. But here is the shocking part. Many people do not notice it until they start moving slower, rising harder, and fearing falls. Here is what happens inside the body. Your muscles stop listening as well to the signals from protein and exercise. Doctors call this anabolic resistance. That simply means your muscles have become harder to switch on. In younger adults, a modest meal can trigger repair. In older adults, the same meal often is not enough. Research shows older adults may need about 0.4 grams of protein per kilogram at a meal, compared with about 0.24 in younger adults, to maximize muscle-building signals. Stay with me because the next part explains why even healthy eaters still miss this. Most seniors think the problem is just age. Age matters, but the hidden issue is weak timing. A bowl of toast, fruit juice, or oatmeal alone may fill your stomach, but it often does not give your muscles the raw material they need. Then dinner becomes the only real protein meal of the day. But here is the shocking part most people do not know. Muscle does not store extra protein like a pantry stores cans. Your body needs repeated signals across the day. Studies found many older adults, especially women over 71, do not meet even basic protein goals. If this slide continues, the cost is not only smaller arms. The domino effect is brutal. Lower body weakness raises fall risk. Research shows more than 1 in 4 adults over 65 falls each year, and falling once doubles the chance of falling again. Weak muscles reduce walking speed, balance, and confidence. Then fear causes less movement. Less movement causes more weakness. Here is what happens next. Grocery bags feel heavy. Getting off the toilet feels harder. A simple curb looks dangerous. Comment leg weakness if any of this sounds familiar, and tell me your age too. Let me tell you about Margaret. She was 68, still sharp, still social, and still proud that she never asked for help. But her thighs burned every time she climbed the stairs. She blamed arthritis, weather, and bad sleep. What she did not blame was breakfast. Over the next year, Margaret stopped taking the upstairs laundry basket in one trip. She rested halfway up. She skipped walks with friends because she feared slowing them down. Her doctor told her to walk more, so she did. But walking alone did not rebuild the muscle she had already lost. She ate cereal in the morning, soup at lunch, and a decent dinner. On paper, she felt she was eating lightly and wisely. Emotionally, she felt older every month. Then, Margaret learned something simple. Her muscles were not getting enough protein early enough, and she was not giving them a reason to grow. She started with a stronger breakfast, a protein source at lunch, and 10 minutes of chair squats and wall pushes most days. She also added a bowl of berries or a kiwi next to that breakfast because I wanted her to stop treating fruit as dessert and start using it as a support tool. Within 3 weeks, she stood up faster from her couch. Within 8 weeks, she climbed the stairs without stopping. She did not become a bodybuilder. She became independent again. Research shows protein works best when it is combined with resistance exercise, and that matched her results. Comment stairs if you have felt that same burn in your legs. Let me know your age as well. Now, before I reveal the best solutions, I need to show you what silently makes this problem worse. Number 1 is skipping protein at breakfast. Here is what happens when you start the day with only toast, juice, or plain oatmeal. Your blood sugar rises, your hunger swings later, and your muscles miss the first repair signal of the day. What they do not tell you is that many seniors then try to catch up at dinner when muscle response is already weaker. But here is the shocking part most people do not know. A low protein morning often leads to a low strength afternoon. I saw this with Harold, age 74. He thought breakfast was harmless because he was not hungry. Yet by noon, he felt shaky, and by evening, he was too tired to move. When he shifted to Greek yogurt, eggs, or cottage cheese with fruit, his energy steadied, and his home exercises became easier. Number 2 is trusting walking alone. I love walking. It helps the heart, brain, mood, and blood sugar. But here is the hidden disaster. Walking does not challenge aging muscle enough for many seniors, especially in the legs and hips, once weakness is already there. Research shows resistance exercise, especially when paired with protein, improves muscle mass, strength, and physical performance better than nutrition alone. Most seniors do not know that walking can maintain function, yet often cannot reverse sarcopenia by itself. Number 3 is eating most of your protein at night. Here is what happens when breakfast and lunch are light and dinner is heavy. Your body gets one large signal instead of 3 useful ones. Some of that protein still helps, but the missed earlier chances are gone. But here is the shocking part. Even a high-protein dinner may not fully rescue a day of underfeeding. Seniors need repeated muscle messages. That means breakfast matters, lunch matters, and recovery after activity matters. Number 4 is living on easy but low-quality convenience foods. Crackers, pastries, sugary cereal, and instant noodles slide down quickly, but they do not support strong muscle. Here is what happens when these foods dominate the day. Protein stays low, fiber may stay low, and inflammation can rise. Many people also miss vitamin C-rich fruits and vegetables that may help protect muscle through antioxidant and anti-inflammatory support. What they do not tell you is that weakness often starts in the kitchen long before it shows up on the stairs. Let me tell you about Edward. He was 79 and lived alone after his wife died. He hated cooking for one, so he ate toast, cookies, canned noodles, and tea. His weight looked stable, but his legs thinned. His grip weakened. He thought he was doing fine because the scale was steady. Once he started buying simple protein foods and easy fruit, his strength slowly returned and his confidence followed. Comedy auser, goser austeri. When any of these. Do not worry. You are about to learn how to fix it. Number 5 is a stronger breakfast with at least 25 to 30 grams of protein. Do you know what happens when you eat a real protein breakfast after waking? Within hours, you give your muscles the building blocks they need for repair. You also reduce the long gap that often leaves seniors underfed until evening. Here is what happens next. Energy becomes steadier, cravings calm down, and the body gets an earlier chance to switch on muscle protein synthesis. Research shows healthy older adults often do best around 1.0 to 1.2 grams of protein per kilogram each day, and many experts suggest about 25 to 30 grams at each meal. A 2025 review from Case Western Reserve University reported that older adults may need about 0.4 grams per kilogram at each meal to maximize muscle-building signals. That is why breakfast can no longer be an afterthought. Think of it as turning the lights on in the muscle instead of leaving the room dim all morning. A practical breakfast might be Greek yogurt with milk, chia, and berries. It could be eggs with cottage cheese and fruit on the side. It could be tofu scramble with soy milk and kiwi. If chewing is hard, use a smoothie with yogurt or soy protein, frozen berries, and oats. Expect better morning energy first. Then expect easier standing, walking, and exercise tolerance over the next few weeks. Let me tell you about Susan. She was 72 and said she felt weak by lunch every day. She assumed that meant she needed sugar. In truth, she needed breakfast protein. 2 weeks after changing breakfast, she stopped hunting for cookies at 11 in the morning. 6 weeks later, she told me she could carry groceries again without pausing in the parking lot. Number 4 is choosing a high-quality protein source at each meal. This includes eggs, dairy, fish, chicken, lean meat, soy foods, or whey if food alone is hard. Here is what happens when you choose a protein with plenty of essential amino acids, especially leucine. You trigger the signal that tells muscle fibers to repair and rebuild. Eggs remain an excellent benchmark food because they are highly digestible and rich in essential amino acids. So this is not an anti-egg message. It is a pro-muscle message. Research shows animal proteins often stimulate muscle building more strongly than many plant proteins, though plant proteins can still work well when total protein is high enough and meals are planned carefully. A 2024 review of 43 randomized trials found no significant overall difference in muscle mass between plant and animal protein in older adults, but lower body strength sometimes favored animal protein. Another 2022 pilot trial in older women found a daily 20-gram egg white supplement improved protein intake and upper body measures within the intervention group. Though larger studies are still needed, use the protein that fits your budget, teeth, appetite, and culture. If you eat plant-based, combine soy foods, dairy if tolerated, beans, lentils, and fortified foods across the day. If you use whey, choose low-sugar products and discuss kidney disease with your doctor first. Early signs of success include less afternoon fatigue and better recovery after activity. Stay with me because the next one will surprise you. Number 3 is resistance exercise paired with protein. Here is what happens when you challenge a muscle with chair stands, wall push-ups, bands, or light weights. Tiny stress signals tell that muscle to adapt. Then, protein provides the raw material to rebuild it stronger. This is why walking alone often disappoints people who want stronger legs. The muscle needs a reason to grow. Even 2 or 3 sessions each week can matter. A 2024 systematic review and meta-analysis in epidemiology and health looked at 8 studies with 854 older adults with sarcopenia. Studies found that protein supplementation combined with resistance exercise improved muscle mass, muscle strength, and physical performance. That means better chair rise ability, better gait speed, and better daily function. Now, this is important. You do not need a gym membership to begin. You need a repeatable challenge. Start with sit to stands from a sturdy chair, wall push-ups, heel raises, and resistance band rows. Do 1 or 2 sets, 2 or 3 times each week, then build slowly. Eat your protein meal within a couple of hours around that session. Expect the first change to be confidence. Then you may notice steadier steps, easier stairs, and less fear of falling over the next month or 2. Let me tell you about James. He was 83 and thought he was too old to start strength work. He had already fallen once, and that fear made him stiff. We began with 5 sit-to-stands, holding the kitchen counter, then added protein at breakfast and lunch. In 1 month, he moved faster. In 2 months, he stopped using both hands to push out of every chair. His daughter told me he looked like himself again. Number 2 is using fruit the smart way, not the silly way. Here is what happens when you pair protein with vitamin C-rich fruit or deeply colored berries. You add nutrients and plant compounds that may support recovery, lower oxidative stress, and improve diet quality. Research does not show that fruit alone builds large amounts of muscle in seniors. I want to be very clear about that, but fruit can help create a body environment that supports muscle health. That is the honest science behind the flashy title. Research shows higher fruit and vegetable intake is linked with better physical performance in older adults, though trials are still limited. A major review on skeletal muscle aging reported reasonably consistent observational evidence connecting higher fruit and vegetable intake with better performance, but not enough randomized trials to call fruit a treatment for sarcopenia. A 2020 Journal of Nutrition study from the University of East Anglia and partners looked at about 13,000 middle-aged and older adults. It found higher dietary and blood vitamin C levels were associated with higher estimated muscle mass. Preliminary berry research is also promising, but still early. So what fruit do I like most here? I like kiwi, berries, citrus, and even guava, where available because they are rich in vitamin C or polyphenols. Add one serving beside Greek yogurt, eggs, cottage cheese, tofu, or a protein smoothie. Berries work well after exercise. Kiwi works well at breakfast. Citrus helps at lunch. What should you expect? Better consistency, better nutrient coverage, and maybe better recovery over time, not overnight miracles. Before I reveal the #1 strategy, which of these surprised you most? Comment below. Let me tell you about Linda. She was 76 and swore fruit was only sugar. She avoided it for years. Her diet became beige, soft, and repetitive. We added protein first, then berries and kiwi in small portions. Within a month, her appetite improved, her constipation eased, and she finally had enough energy to keep doing her strength routine. That is the key. Fruit did not replace protein. It helped her stay on the plan. #1 is protein distribution across the whole day, with fruit as a helper and strength work as the trigger. Here's what happens when breakfast, lunch, and dinner each carry enough protein. You stop asking dinner to do all the work. Your muscles hear the growth message more than once. Your recovery improves. Your exercise starts paying off. But here is the shocking part most people miss. The best muscle fruit is not a fruit that beats eggs. It is the fruit that helps you keep eating enough protein, enough color, and enough food quality every single day. This is why I say the fruit strategy can feel better than eggs for some seniors. Not because it has more protein, it does not. It helps because it makes a complete meal easier to tolerate, easier to repeat, and more supportive of recovery. If eggs upset your stomach, or if you are simply tired of them, pair another quality protein with fruit and move on. Muscle building is about patterns, not one heroic food. Here is what makes this powerful. These strategies multiply each other. Protein gives the bricks. Resistance, exercise, gives the blueprint. Fruit and vegetables help provide the supportive environment. A practical breakfast could be 2 eggs with Greek yogurt and berries. A practical lunch could be salmon or tofu, beans, and an orange. A practical dinner could be chicken, lentils, vegetables, and kiwi or prunes for dessert. Here is what happens when you repeat that pattern. Your body gets several chances to rebuild instead of 1 weak chance at night. Here is a sample routine I give many patients. At breakfast, aim for 2 eggs plus 3/4 cup Greek yogurt and 1 cup berries within 2 hours of waking. At lunch, try 3 to 4 ounces of salmon, chicken, tofu, or beans with vegetables and 1 orange. At dinner, have another 3 to 4 ounces of protein, cooked vegetables, and kiwi or prunes. If you exercise in the morning, place the larger protein meal after that session. If you exercise later, keep lunch or dinner stronger. This spacing works because your muscles keep hearing the rebuild message. Comment routine if you want me to make a full 7-day senior meal plan in a future video. And comment bedtime snack if you want my safest evening protein ideas, because a light snack like yogurt or milk can help some seniors reach targets without feeling stuffed. If chewing tires you out, choose soft foods like yogurt, eggs, tofu, cottage cheese, or canned fish. The goal is not perfect meals. Goal is meals you can repeat on sick days, busy days, and hard days. Let me tell you about Robert. He was 80 and said dinner was the only meal he enjoyed. We did not take that away. We simply gave breakfast and lunch a purpose. He started cottage cheese and berries in the morning, tuna and fruit at lunch, then kept his normal dinner. Within 6 weeks, he walked farther without resting. Within 10 weeks, he got back to gardening. Comment mind, meal timing, if you realize this has been your missing link. Now, this is important. Some seniors should be cautious. If you have kidney disease, trouble swallowing, severe weight loss, diabetes medication changes, or digestive disease, talk with your healthcare provider before sharply increasing protein or changing meal timing. If you take blood thinners, ask about major diet shifts, especially if leafy greens change a lot. If fruit spikes your blood sugar, pair it with protein, fiber, and smaller portions instead of eating it alone. Always consult your healthcare provider if you have unexplained muscle loss, repeated falls, or new weakness. Watch for warning signs that need medical attention. Rapid weight loss, severe fatigue, shortness of breath, swelling, black stools, chest pain, or weakness on one side are not normal aging. They need prompt care. Responsible muscle building after 60 is empowering, not reckless. We are not replacing your doctor. We are giving you better questions to ask and better habits to practice. You now have the knowledge that many people never get. Muscle loss after 60 is common, but it is not something you have to greet with surrender. The core solution is simple. Eat enough protein, spread it across the day, challenge your muscles with resistance work, and use fruit the smart way as support, not fantasy. Here is what happens when you act on this. Your strength improves, your balance can improve, and daily life starts feeling safer again. Comment one of 3 things. Comment breakfast if that is the habit you will fix first. Comment strength if you will start chair stands or bands this week. Comment fruit pair if you will add kiwi, berries, citrus, or another vitamin C rich fruit beside your protein. I share this channel to help you stay independent, sharp, and active for as long as possible. Subscribe now because my next video will cover the biggest lunch mistakes that quietly increase weakness after 70. Do not wait until the next fall, the next skipped walk, or the next hard stare. If this video helped you, share it with someone who needs this information. You might save their independence, and you might even save their life. Nai I dare I nin turnains nine die.